Today, we'll be telling a story of a rock giant, a sorceress, and a rogue that stumbled on a little town fighting the darkness as this rock giant decided that it was always going to be the rough way of doing things. The year was 2016, and I had wanted to get back into Dungeons & Dragons for some time. I had just not had the chance to do so until my roommate wanted to make a campaign with two of my other friends in college. I decided to become a rock giant. I was a peaceful creature from the highlands, and I was wanting to investigate the world below and discover things that I had not seen before. Little did I know that I was going to be running into some interesting scenarios in the first campaign. We met simply because of the fact that we had just all been on the same trail at one time. I had met the sorceress and had kind of become a bit of a guardian for her in our quest. I would hold her on my shoulder. I would carry her through places that I felt were dangerous. I was just a big teddy bear. The sorceress was as curious as could be, like a 5-year-old that needed a guardian's leash on her just so that she didn't run off all the time. The rogue, he was on his own agenda, and really you could never tell what he was up to. But that's beside the point. We had stumbled into a little village on our first quest as to hunt down a mysterious instance of an abandoned village. The village was indeed completely abandoned and nobody was there, except for the goblins that roamed the area. We had stumbled into an abandoned bar, and the first thing we noticed was a goblin. The goblin in question ran into the kitchen, and I was the first to follow it, simply because I was eager and I was still a barbarian-esque class trying to fight it. In my barbarian way, I found the goblin and tried to intimidate it. I rolled a very low intimidation score and proceeded to yell at the goblin. The goblin, on the other hand, decided to yell right back at me and stab me in the chest, dealing 3 damage. We did dispose of this goblin, but it did hurt very badly. I had designed a character that had low armor, and this was not good for me in the later stages of this quest. As we continued through the village and were discovering its secrets, we later went and started to investigate a small church in the area that had light coming out of it. The sorceress of all people, of course, decided to run into the church. I was not very enthusiastic about this, but me and the rogue, of course, followed suit, me in second and the rogue slowly following behind me. As we got into the church, I did not notice until after 5 seconds in that goblins were in the church trying to steal and light the church on fire. The church was lit on fire. The sorceress did not notice at this time, and in my panic, acting like the guardian that I was, proceeded to try and grab the sorceress. The sorceress, on the other hand, beat my grapple roll and hurt me because she was startled, of course, and because I was acting like a big brute. Since this did not work, and the church was lighting on fire faster every second, me, being the less intelligent being that I was, noticed the most near thing that I could go through. A window. A large stained glass window with very sharp and pointy glass. I rolled, thinking that I could avoid damage. Again, I did not. My body was littered with shards of glass that I had to pry out after I had the encounter, dealing roughly 2 damage. Meanwhile, in all of the surprise, the rogue and the sorceress were able to get out of the church without any damage. It's one of the most hilarious things I have ever done in Dungeons & Dragons. Nothing as absurd as jumping through a church window. But again, it's D&D. Anything can happen if you let it. And that is something that I always love and that I always cherish about stories just like that one.